Alright. In this little video or mini lecture, I wanted to talk about what it means to isolate a variable when you're dealing with a formula. Now, this idea comes in handy when you have to work with a formula and you need to know what exactly it is that you're solving for. So you have to know whatever problem you're looking at. You kind of have to have a general understanding of which part of your formula you're plugging into and which part of your formula you are solving for. Well, the way that you isolate variables inside formulas is very similar to simply solving with linear equations. The only difference is, for a lot of these, instead of having, say, a single variable, you might have quite a few, 2, 3, 4, etc., depending on what the formula is that you're using. So you have to know how to manipulate variables from one side to another, just like we have to manipulate numbers. A few steps that we have here, ideas on what you could follow to try and make it easier, deals with first removing any fractions you see in the formula, then distribute through the parentheses, circle the variable you're solving for to try and help you know what has to move. And then to finish isolating, you need to add or subtract any terms that are on the wrong side of the equation. So for example, we are given a formula here, A equals LW, and we are asked to solve for W. So in this case, we are looking for W. Therefore, we have to divide everything by L. So A over L is equal to W. Since W is totally by itself, we've done what we need to do. Sometimes there may be more than just that one step. So in this case, we're asking you to find M. So M is in the numerator here of my fraction. So the first thing I have to do is I need to divide or multiply both sides by 2. So this becomes a 2a is equal to m plus n. I then need to take this n and I need to move it. Since it is being added, to move it says I have to subtract. Therefore, we get that 2a minus n equals m. Since I have solved for the variable that I needed, that's what I had to do, or that's all we're looking for. Okay. So let's just look at a couple more different formulas, each one slightly more complicated than the rest. In this one, we are solving for x. So if we identify where the x is, notice it's right there. So the first thing that we have to do is I need to take this b term and I need to move it. Since it is being added, to move it says I have to subtract. So this becomes y minus b equals mx. And then what I have to do is I need to get x completely by itself, which means I have to divide the whole thing by m. So we get that y minus b all over m is equal to x. Okay. Now here we're looking to solve for b, and b is on the inside here of this parentheses. So the first thing that I would do is I would get rid of this fraction. So I would go ahead and multiply everything by 2. So this becomes a 2a is equal to h times b plus c. Then I need to divide everything by h. So this becomes 2a over h equals b plus c. Since the parentheses are gone, it means I can now take this c term and I can move it to the other side. Since it's being added, to move it says I have to subtract. So this becomes 2a all over h minus c equals my b term. Okay, let's kind of do it again. Here we're solving for r, so r again is inside my parentheses here. So the first thing I want to do is we need to say either, we need to divide by p. So a over p is equal to 1 plus RT. I need to try and get r by itself, so I'm going to take this 1 and I'm going to shift it over to the other side. So this becomes a over p minus 1 is equal to RT. I then have to divide everything by t. So I have that a over p minus 1 divided by t is going to give me my r term. Now last but not least, here we're going to solve for f. So again, f is inside my parentheses here. To get rid of it, says first I need to multiply by 9. So this becomes 9c is equal to 5 times f plus 32. Divide everything by 5, and I have 9c over 5 is equal to f plus 32. So then I have to move this 32 over to the other side. So I'm going to have 9 over 5c minus my 32 is equal to f. And yes, this last equation here was interchanging back and forth between Celsius and Fahrenheit. So that's just kind of in a nutshell how you would manipulate formulas in order to solve for different variables, and you would use this knowledge depending on the different word problems or application problems or even just simple algebra problems that you may have. Okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, be sure to keep smiling, make sure you have tons of fun, relax, and I'll see you next time.